So when we look at the paradigm shifts and the changes in philosophies and ideologies in society, it is consistent with the big corporation's agenda. And the Ford Foundation president, Darren Walker, made that clear when he was talking about how inequality is bad for business, okay? And how they're going to address it by changing attitudes and philosophies and sentiments all over the world. So you look at what is a conglomerate, right? What is a transnational corporation? Okay, what are business partnerships? What was Rockefeller talking about when he said he wanted to make a more integrated global society? Well, it shows you that they're trying to put people on the same page, just like the Freemasons. And it is for a more effective business world. You know, breaking down barriers so people can communicate and accomplish their global goals a lot more readily and easily. So with that being said, you must see that they are specifically looking for religions that are gay friendly, feminist friendly, kind of gender neutral, ones that do not stigmatize the rich, because these are the people doing it, right? Why would they spread philosophies that make them look bad? They want women to be hypergamous because that is good for business. Because remember, business pays more for people who are higher up on the social ladder, who have, more skilled jobs and, more desired jobs, managers and regional managers and CEOs and what have you, right? They want the perks to include the women, that sexy secretary. And this is good for business because people are more driven and ambitious when there's more perks for them to be successful, as opposed to saying, well, I don't really want to be the manager anyway. It doesn't make too much more money and there's more responsibilities. Instead, I want that job so bad. I'll have a bad secretary, an office with a nice view, and so on. So this is why Christianity is under attack. This is why morality is under attack. So, when you look at this thing, right, you can say, well, it's Satanists and this and that, which is, for all intents and purposes true, because they are eugenicists and what they're doing is satanic. Even if they weren't self-confessed Satanists, they fit the description to a T. But I think it's more palatable, more understandable, more easy, it's easier to communicate when you say that this is a corporate agenda and the corporate crooks have made it clear what their intentions are, and they intend to attack anything and anybody that gets in their way. Kind of phase them out. So when you look at the sectors, right, over the years I've been saying the pharmaceutical sector is the most profitable, and it does seem to be. Depending on how you slice profit, there's profit margins and different things, right? But when you look at, for example, dentistry, right, it's a bunch of dentists who own their offices typically, spread out, as opposed to big pharmaceutical companies that are powerhouses that rake in huge profits. So depending on how you slice it, the pharmaceutical sector is the most profitable. Investment banking, okay, oils and gases up there, biotech, IT services, IT infrastructure. So especially when you look at the types of corporations, these aren't Christian groups. These aren't, philanthropic groups when you truly break down who they really are. These are people with an agenda, and any philanthropic causes that they're going to, help out, it has to do with their agenda. When you look at these underdeveloped nations, right, there's a lot of attractive women there. And this is, women are part of the perks. They're human resources. So if you're a big corporation and you're trying to get the best of everything to offer it to those who get on board, right, you're going to want to tap into the underdeveloped nations. You're going to want to develop them, expand your business there, and recruit the most willing and attractive women from there to join, your cause, your movement, what you're trying to do. And in the process, you're going to be screwing over good people who are humble, who aren't okay with what you're trying to do, who may or may not be opposed to it, but their culture and their belief system is certainly adverse to it. And that's what's been going on. And I've been trying to tell you, this is a corporate eugenic agenda. And I'm going to try to avoid using the word Satanist because it kind of turns people off. And there's a lot of conspiracy theorists and a lot of stuff that is, for the most of it is true, but it's still hard to believe. It's hard to believe that these people drink blood from a skull, on the 32nd degree, in masonry, that they chop up goats on the floors. And of course there's videos, and Masons have said that they do these things, and in a way it's a distraction. It's almost as if they do these things so it's harder for you to believe what they are doing. And the bottom line of what they're doing is they're breaking down morality. They're nihilists and moral relativists and atheists, and where they have teamed up. That's why you see feminists. I have pictures of it where they put "fuck your morals" or "God is a woman." They're making it very obvious what they're doing and why. And of course, a lot of feminists, as I've gone over many, many times, have teamed up with these big corporations because in the process of doing all this, they're going to, quote unquote, help a lot of women, get nice jobs in business, right? And in other sectors, and to break down any stigma that is associated with religion, okay? The patriarchy, right? It's going to be a more diverse and gender-neutral business environment in the process. So the goals of corporate America and the feminists line up. That's why these politicians have no problem teaming up with the corporations. In a way, you have to do it. Politics is about, mainstream politics is about making a deal with the corporations, convincing them that what you're trying to do is in their best interest, and trying to get your agenda across as much as possible while trying to make yourself a lot of money and get a lot of respect in your communities and in the nation. That's what politics is. It's a disgrace. But a lot of people say, well, these politicians have sold out to corporations. That is how it is played. It is a disgrace, and it's the result of the system. This is not something that they just do just to fatten their own pockets. It's how the game is played. In my opinion, hate the player who plays it like a lowly knave, but also hate the machine, hate the system, hate the game. Destroy it. Liberate yourself from it. Transcend it and urge others to. So at the end of the day, in order to defeat social norms that are immoral, you have to transcend the machine and stand firm with sacred morality. You have to increase the importance of morality as they are incrementally and systematically, methodically decreasing the importance of morality in the minds and hearts of humanity with their calculated, concerted effort to bring in a corporate agenda where you are nothing more than a human resource for a bunch of rich snobs. You have to counterattack and increase the importance of sacred morality in the minds and hearts of people. If you want to be a successful, piece on the board in Babylon's system, then you're going to do it their way. You're going to tread lightly. If you have any opinions that will upset them, you keep them to yourself. But if you want to be a good person and excel at being a virtuous person, then there's no way around it. You are in direct conflict with the powers that be and all the social controllers and their little helpers, their proxy groups. You have to urge people to transcend. You have to do things in a way that is going to draw their attention and get them to try to stop you and play you out. The truth will set you and humanity free. They are dealing with, people's complexes and people's desires, people's ambitions and dreams, especially financially, socially, culturally. But you need to focus on the aspects of culture and religion and spirituality that have to do with morality, and get people to transcend and say, look, you don't want to gain the world and lose your soul. You don't want to gain some breadcrumbs and lose your soul. Because every person that does it their way is like a advertisement, It's kind of like the buses, right? When the buses, you see advertisements. You see advertisements on Coke cans and billboards and TV commercials, right? These people who do it their way, that drive the nice cars, that sell out, okay, they are a fucking advertisement for the New World Order. They're saying, live life the way I do. Sell out like I have. I'm happy talking to people. How was your trip to the Bahamas? Oh, me and my, boyfriend are going there next year. And, we're going to bring back some pictures and send you postcards. And, I'm hoping I get this raise, right? You're always hoping for a raise or to be promoted, right? And to do this, you have to jump through the hoops. You have to kiss their ass. This is a corporate, pharmaceutical, eugenic state. And it is absolute hypocrisy and lies. They have to lie. They have to propagate despicable, reprehensible, unforgivable falsehoods to get their agenda through. They are godless, mass-murdering trash. No one hates them more than I do. Now I'm going to touch on one last thing. I'm going to wrap this up. I didn't intend to make this video this long. To defeat these people, I believe one of two things needs to, happen. One, which is more desirable but almost impossible, is to create a strong sentiment in society that we want to transcend, that you're a traitor to the people unless you resist all their controlled philosophies, unless you transcend, unless you put your foot down and say, no, I'm not going to do it. But history has shown us, right, when people do this like that, they fail. The technocrats, the autocrats, the kleptocracy have always, quote unquote, brought people into the next age, right? And anyone who wished to hold on to their culture have lost. And they made a lot of movies about it, like I think it was The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise and stuff like that, where the technology guys come in, It's all the same throughout the world. So with that idea, no, people like their little toys, their little technology. They like to sell out and conform and feel accepted, and to spread a sentiment of transcendence is nearly impossible. And I'm talking true transcendence, not some kind of liberal twist or controlled opposition philosophy. The other way is harder for the individual, but it's easier to accomplish for the group. That is surgical strikes. It's not easy. As much as I hate to say this, which may dissuade some of you, it's like if you've ever hurt somebody on accident, right, and you feel bad. Killing somebody is a lot like that, though you did on purpose. Once you've killed them, now you're dealing with that forever. It's like they're dead. Their blood is on the ground. Their brains are spilled everywhere. You've killed them. And part of you dies with them. It's not as easy as you might think it is when you're talking about a revolution as a military force. Perhaps it is. Don't know. I suspect that when you're in the military and you're brainwashed and conditioned and you're just carrying out your orders like a machine, it's probably not as dramatic. But when you're a revolutionary and you run up on a motherfucker and blow their face off, that is spiritually painful, but at times necessary.